right, it is Laura with Junka Gypsy Sisters. We are here to do a flip through of this fun Halloween junk journal. This was last year's Halloween junk journal class. By the way, there are still 2 kits available on our website. But here it is. We just used a solid black book cover, expanded it with Tyvek and fabric in this fun owl and spider web, creepy night print there. And then we had these fun dangles with our skulls and our moons and our jack-o'-lanterns and all our fun colors, our creepy face beads, and just made a real fun book charm. Did collage on the cover, so everybody's was a little different, figuring out their placement. This is metal fencing and stone charms, jewelry with a cabochon over there with our little spider print in it, and just some fun pieces. And then on the inside cover, we had these monster clear pockets. So the fabric on the inside that we expanded with was another fun print. And of course, you know, you can use whichever fabrics you want, put them where you want, but you get both pieces in the kit. Then there is a collage of all sorts of antique and vintage papers, an old postcard, an old witch hazel label, just some fun images. And we cut this portion. So you get the whole sheet and you cut it apart accordingly. So we used this portion to just make a giant journaling tag to put in our super fun clear pocket, because we want to see those images all the time. Some great Cartabella paper, some chipboard die cuts, vintage poems and different things that we've used to embellish antique papers. 1865 on that antique ledger sheet, some fun custom digital prints, deep plum grosgrain Halloween treat bags, some more fun prints, and a mini ledger sheet. This is a really fun page with corner embellishments, and it says magic spells at the top. Another vintage ledger page with an assortment of fun stickers and die cuts. A vintage October calendar. This one has 1971. We used some of the Halloween pattern in here and napkins and shape sprinkles from Doodlebug. Halloween treat ideas. Just a fun journaling page. Love this acetate. This portion has the little cat on it here. The other portion has the witch and her brew, and we'll see that. Black bag, buttons, and tickets. We creepy clothed an old mansion to make a spooky card, and then altered it with vintage papers, fabric, and lined cardstock to make some more fun journaling tags, fun embellishments, more of the scrapbooking paper, flashcards, printouts, paper bags. You know, we love our paper bags. Again, when you sew them in, you've got 2 Insta pockets. So you've got the large pocket here. Another one of our creepy prints in there. More of the creepy cloth, fun little sparkly spider, pumpkin card, just some embellishment here, vintage hem lace. Love, love, love these. Check this out, y'all. Atlantic Coffin and Casket Company from the 60s. Just a receipt for a casket and supplies. So much fun, so appropriate for anything Halloween. Tickets and shape sprinkles and just all the fun. This was fabric that we decoupaged onto file folder weight stock and then cut out the individual bottles, just some fun distressed tags. Here is another piece of that acetate. We moved the pockets, or the tags, so you can see. It says double, double, toil and trouble from Shakespeare. Napkin on a flashcard, playing cards. Our centerpiece is a small Halloween poem from the 60s. Again, more of the grid paper. Here's the other half of our casket receipt and ledger page, the other half of our bag. And we have doily and buttons and tickets on there. We have this fun Rolodex with costumed kids that we did over our flap. And then here's another piece of our fun collage sheet with the vintage witch hazel label image on there. Vintage bingo card with napkins, just decoupaged over. Again, pocket with the creepy cloth, and then a spider ring that we just cut the top of the spider off and used him as an embellishment. Vintage stamps. Here's our witch and cauldron. I'm going to flip her over so you can see the other side looks like. She is super fun, really cool image there. Love a piece of acetate or vellum. Even though you can't do much on it, it just adds a fun look. Changes the look of the paper underneath. And then we have a children's haunted house maze, a little collage page with just some scrapbooking papers, mini books. This one is The Discovery of Witches, some pieces of our pattern from our pattern instructions in there. So just kind of torn and layered to make a fun collage. Here's the other half of that fun vintage calendar from 1971. Again, a vintage ledger sheet, just some embellishment ribbon, corner pocket from the Cartabella paper, buttons, more of our collage sheet, added a little piece of vintage rickrack on there. Just such a fun book. Oh, that's got a little stick there. More of the ledger sheet, library pockets, library cards, ribbon. So this was a wide wired ribbon. We just removed the wire, adhered it down, folded it over, and adhered it again. Another one of those digital printouts that we purchased. Fun clip. Whoops, sorry, hit the camera stand. Fun little clip there with the enameled cabochon over the piece of the paper, and then another fold out here with another hidden pocket because it's all about the flips and flaps. And so in that pocket you've got your fun little journaling tag with our fun little ghosty peeking out there, and he's just tucked in that little slit. Oh, he's a little stuck. There we go. Get him out of there, and he just hangs out on the back side of our tag, and then he can slide right back in the band here. And it's just a great little hidden journaling spot. And then the clip to keep it all closed. Cartabella paper again. And I believe this one is either Simple Stories or maybe Echo Park. Fun little trick-or-treater die cut here. Just kind of mounted on orange and then cut around. This again is a napkin, and we just adhered it onto cardstock and made a shaped pocket for another one of the printouts. Another vintage ledger page, little clip holding in just a fun little tag that you can journal on. And again, bringing in the lime green, Toil and Trouble, coffin and spider paper side pocket with just a vintage flashcard, more of the magic spell paper. This is another 1800s. This one is 1866 railroad ledger, stock exchange ledger. And another fun piece of Cartabella cardstock with another printout for a journaling card. So lots of places to write, extra spots to journal on the back of your tags, add your photos, do whatever you want to do. Another just fun image, piece of the napkin. 45 sleeves. Guys, these are 45 record sleeves. They make fantastic built-in pockets. Sew them in, and you can fit a standard size shipping tag on either half. And then you've got the little peekaboo spot. So again, just some cardstock on here, one of our creepy spiders, just on a standard oak tag shipping tag. And he just slides right in there. It's just a piece of vellum with a little embellishment, so it kind of gives a haze or a fogginess to the scene behind it. Another one of our purchased digital prints with some vintage orange rickrack. Another cupcake paper, and you can tuck all sorts of things in here. Just a fun printed paper, a metal charm, which he could have been a dangle, but we chose to just embellish with him there. Another paper clip made with bottle caps and a 1-inch hole punch, piece of your paper, so it custom matches your paper or your fabric or anything you're using. And then just holding that little tag on there. Another collage page, vintage hem lace, die cuts of all sorts, Tim Holtz paper dolls that we creepied up a little, a piece from a Halloween joke book from the 70s, doilies, you name it, another vintage stamp, just all the fun things, some more Halloween paper. Here is a fun vintage song. We love to use sheet music. We collect vintage music. We probably have about 1,000 pieces. We just pull things that match different themes for our junk journals. The back, we've just put some embellished with some orange velvet and some funny little shape sprinkles, and you can certainly mount photos there or journal there on either side. We've got our fun haunted house paper, orange envelope mounted with a fun Halloween card. Just another great journaling space. Again, don't discount wired ribbon because it's used for making bows. Take the wires out. You can get some great prints really cheap. We've used this one throughout. This is a vintage treat bag. It's got that old crepe paper feeling. They used to do them like that in the 70s. And another tag made from our 1800s paper with our little cutout ghosty on it. Just really simple. We want the owner to be able to put their own personalization, so they're left fun with lots of open spaces. Altered playing cards. There's our mansion again. Looks like a nice creepy night with the dark sky. We use our papers. We use all sorts of things. We love to do altered cards. We have about 400 decks of vintage cards. In our Whatnot sales, we often will do card nights where you can pick and choose an assortment of cards. So you can get from a bunch of different decks and get the images that you want. It's lots of fun to use them. The other half of the vellum, the other half of the 45 record sleeve with another piece of our collage page on there. And again, you start with the collage. You can certainly go in and add all sorts of embellishments back on there. You know, we're just going to leave him right there for now. I'll put him in later. A little coin or key envelope here. Fabric again to make a tag. Stickers. These are little vintage wood embellishments. They're a little thick, but they're fun. Another printout page. Little vintage tags, leftover pieces of the Cartabella cardstock turned into little pockets, more libraries, library pockets and cards, just doilies and images. And then here's again the other half of that 1866 New York Central Railroad Company stock transfer sheet. The other half of our magic potions with a little sparkle die cut there. A little scratch off kiddo here. Held closed with a paper clip on a Z fold, and then he just goes right on here. Vintage flashcards make a great base. You can embellish them as much as you want, leave them plain, bring up just a bit of simplicity in. More of the ledger sheet and the other piece of cardstock. Then inside the back cover, we all got a vintage Halloween costume pattern, embellished it up a little, and then made a large journaling tag in here. And just slide him right in that pocket. So you've got your signatures that are stuffed full. You've got large pockets in either end. The kit comes with everything to make this. All you need is your tools and adhesives. She is fun. She's chunky. She's quite embellished, but still leaving you room to personalize. There she is. Our next Halloween class will be coming out in the next week or 10 days. But again, there are 2 kits from last year's class left. We just pulled them out of storage and we're like, oh, let's try to sell those last 2. Also be looking for our upcoming Halloween class. And then after that, our 2 Christmas classes made from Christmas Golden Books. Thanks for looking, you guys. Have a great day.